On the run no more. Police in Denver arresting 35-year-old Samantha Moreno Rodriguez of San Jose at a hotel Tuesday morning. Rodriguez facing one count of open murder for the death of her 7-year-old son Liam Husted, whose body took weeks to be positively identified after it was found near the Mountain Springs trailhead in the desert west of the valley.
I expressed that this child had the right to be referenced by his given name, and he deserved law enforcement's commitment to this investigation.
Metro Police say Husted's father noticed Liam and Rodriguez's belongings were gone from their San Jose home, with Rodriguez leaving a message to the father.
She specifically tells him, quote, "I'm sorry I had to do it like this." She also goes on to say that I'm going to try to get a house for Liam and I, and that we can talk about this in the future.
Police say there was nothing to raise suspicion about foul play from the message, and there were no documented family issues. On June 1st, the father contacted San Jose police to say his child was gone with Rodriguez, but didn't want to press charges or file an official report.
He did not want to get Samantha in trouble, and he chose not to file a report to document the parental abduction.
Metro Police say on June 4th, they got a break in the case when a friend of Rodriguez saw the sketch of the body in media reports and contacted San Jose police believing it was Liam. Metro Police investigators got a pillow from Husted's home and through DNA testing positively identifying him.
That is when they spoke with me that evening, and that's when we began coordinating our investigations.
Investigators believed Rodriguez traveled to Southern California with Husted before eventually arriving in Las Vegas, staying at a local motel on May 27. Husted's body was found the next day, and Metro Police believe he was killed in Clark County. Rodriguez then eventually made her way to Denver for an unknown reason before being arrested.
To have closure and identify Liam was very important, and now that we're able to make an arrest on this case is extremely gratifying.
And putting together the pieces, obviously gratifying for investigators. They'd rather not have to investigate a case because that means that someone is dead, someone died, and someone was killed. This little boy, I mean, cute as can be. What was going on here? This is a story that doesn't make a lot of sense yet. It really doesn't. Not that it ever will make true sense, but trying to understand what's going on here. Lieutenant Ray Spencer from the Las Vegas Police and Jeremy Schwartz, FBI Special Agent, spoke and provided some more details surrounding this case. Let's take a listen.
I do want to give a timeline just to kind of walk through some things relating this investigation. So on Monday, May 24th, the father of Liam returned home to his house in San Jose, California. When the father arrived home, he noticed that all of Liam's belongings and all of Samantha's belongings were gone. There was a message that was left for him by Samantha. And I'm just going to quote a little bit of that message, but she specifically tells him, quote, "I'm sorry I had to do it like this." She also goes on to say that I'm going to try to get a house for Liam and I, and that we can talk about this in the future. There was nothing suspicious in that message that would lead the father to believe that Liam or Samantha were involved in any kind of foul play or that there was any harm potentially to come. Over the next week, the father basically did not know what to do. It was on June 1st that the father contacted the San Jose Police Department because he wanted to document the incident. San Jose Police responded to his house and they spoke with him. The patrol officers listened to this message. I've also listened to the message, and there was nothing suspicious from that message. It indicated that Samantha had basically left him and took Liam with her, and they were going somewhere else. He did not want to get Samantha in trouble, and he chose not to file a report to document the parental abduction. It was on the 4th when a friend of Samantha's noticed the sketch that had been circulating on local news networks, and she also knew that Samantha was missing. After observing that, she then went to the San Jose Police Department and explained to them that she felt that Liam could potentially be the person in that sketch. As soon as San Jose Police were presented with that information, they immediately launched an investigation and were very persistent in getting a hold of me. That is when they spoke with me that evening, and that's when we began coordinating our investigations. It is the following morning that we flew there, retrieved the pillow from Liam's bedroom, and brought that back to our forensics lab. So we have I talked yesterday about the information where we could put Samantha in Laguna Beach. We also could place her in Victorville. Since the press conference yesterday, we can place her at a local hotel here in Las Vegas on the 27th. When she was at that hotel, we believe from the information that we have right now that Liam was alive. From there, on the 28th, is when we found Liam's body at Mountain Springs. This morning, at around 6 a.m., members of the FBI's apprehension team in Denver took her into custody. I will turn this press conference over at this point to Jeremy with the FBI.
Good afternoon. I stood up here last week announcing the reward the FBI was offering for the identification of our victim. I expressed that this child had the right to be referenced by his given name, and he deserved law enforcement's commitment to this investigation. While the outcome is heartbreaking, there's a sense of closure that Liam Husted will no longer be referred to as a John Doe. This morning, an arrest was made by FBI's Denver's Rocky Mountain Safe Streets Task Force, which is made possible due to the coordinated effort between members of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, the Las Vegas Criminal Apprehension Team, and the FBI Denver Field Office. While different cities, FBI task forces may have different names in different cities, but their purpose is all the same. It's standard practice for the FBI to assist our local law enforcement partners if we have a tool, a tactic, or a technique that will be of any use. And this investigation, we are fortunate that we're able to assist in this case. We're very thankful for our strong working relationships within the Las Vegas Police Department, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and the law enforcement officers within this community. I do want to just extend my appreciation to the media for your cooperation and your assistance in getting out as much information as you possibly could in such a quick time frame, and also to thank their public for their commitment and for their assistance in us getting to a resolution.
So at this point, I'll take some questions if you do have them.
Any information on the arrest? Was it a tip, and was it 6 a.m. local time here or Denver?
It was around 6 o'clock local time, give or take a few minutes this morning. I'm not going to get into the investigative tactics that were utilized by the apprehension team in Denver, but it was solely on the work that the FBI task force there did that led to the arrest. Go ahead.
Obviously, you guys have been working on this case really hard for the past 2 or so weeks. How significant is solving this case for you and your detectives?
Well, like I said, the entire department, specifically my detectives, myself, it's emotionally draining working a case like this. Being able to have closure and identify Liam was very important, and now that we're able to make an arrest on this case is extremely gratifying. In the back.
Last we heard she was seen on the 31st at a hotel in Denver. A lot of times passed since then. Do you get a sense of what she was doing in Denver? Was she still bouncing around the hotels? Any idea why she chose Denver as her?
We don't know why she was in Denver. I know, like I said, we had her in Colorado even before the hotel room on the 31st, and we do know she was again at a hotel this morning in Denver. Why Denver, we don't know. We have detectives that are on the ground right now conducting interviews with her, and again, that's ongoing. So some of that information could come out as a result of those. Yes?
And is it believed that she was alone during this, that last week or so?
During the time that Liam was killed, we believe she was alone at that time.
Lieutenant, was she also alone in Denver when she was found?
She was not alone in Denver when she was found. However, the person that was taken, that she was with in Denver, we do not believe has any involvement whatsoever in this case.
I have a couple of other questions.
Okay, I'll come back with you, Ken. Yes.
Was Rodriguez arrested peacefully? Was there any resistance or anything like that?
She was taken into custody without incident.
What happens to the car? Is it considered part of evidence, and what do you do since it's in Denver and you guys are here?
So we are currently making arrangements. The FBI sealed the vehicle this morning when she was taken into custody. We will have that vehicle towed back to Las Vegas and processed at the LVMPD forensics lab.
And of course, we'll continue to track this case as it moves now through this system of justice. What a tragedy for that little boy.